Right, hello everybody. I'd like to introduce you to an old acquaintance and friend of mine, Moon.
Hello.
Alright, so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be asking Moon about her experiences dating foreigners. You know, some of the difficulties that arise from cross-cultural relationships.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
Well, before we begin, Moon, maybe you could just do a little bit of an introduction and tell people about yourself a little bit.
Okay, my name is Moon. I'm Chinese. I'm native not Canadian, Cantonese. I'm 30 years old and I work for a bilingual school in Shenzhen. My husband's English.
Yeah.
We've been married for 2 years.
Great, so now you've got somebody here who's actually married to a foreigner, so this is the real article, this is not some fake nonsense off the street. So,
Random
okay, yeah, exactly. So, Moon, I'm sure everybody out there is interested to know, when you first dated a foreigner, what were some of the problems that came up due to the differences in culture?
Definitely maybe food. That's like the simple things.
Yeah.
Foreigners don't eat the same food as we do, and they might find some of the stuff we eat very strange. So I think it takes a while for them to get used to our food. And for me, when I started to date Western guys, I don't really know much about their foods either. So it's actually an interesting thing because I can learn something like what you like to eat back home, and I can introduce some of my foods to them. But if you don't know much about it, it could be tricky.
All right. Did it ever lead to some kind of a situation where somebody got offended? Because I know, like, a lot of foreigners that I meet, they like say, "Wow, this is disgusting."
Yeah,
and
chicken feet.
Yeah. Okay. Most foreigners can't
feet.
stand that, right?
I actually know somebody who actually liked to eat chicken feet
Right.
after a while. Yeah, just like that, because I'm Cantonese, so you know the dim sum situation,
Sure.
where you order a place of stuff and then they look at the intestines or chicken feet, they just think it's repulsive.
Yeah.
Wow, it's gross. How can you eat that? How can you put that in your mouth?
Yeah.
And they get offended, and I probably will get offended too, because it's something which
if you
I'm
grow
very
up with it, right?
it's something I'm familiar with, so that could be a problem.
All right.
I wouldn't say it's a problem because I'm sure, like, you get used to it. You don't have to eat it, and I don't have to eat it in front of my husband.
All right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, that didn't even occur to me. I suppose if somebody's been growing up eating something their whole life and it's something that they enjoy and it's something their family eats together, and someone comes along and says, "Well, this is disgusting," it is probably going to have a slight, impact on you. Maybe offend you or offend, the people at the table. So remember that, guys. Be considerate.
Be prepared for the gross food.
Exactly. Just in the back of your head, say, "Oh, this is disgusting," but just try and stomach it anyway. Okay.
Just a little bit.
All right. So other than food, what else do you think?
Definitely for a while, I think the language barrier, especially if you just come to China, you don't really speak Chinese, and you're dating somebody who probably don't speak very fluent English, there might be a language barrier.
Sure.
So to conquer that, I think maybe you can show a little bit of willingness to learn Mandarin.
Right.
Like the locals love it. If you speak just a little bit Mandarin, they think you appreciate the culture, they will like that. And it's not difficult for Chinese girls to learn English because we already learned that at school, but just get to practice a lot if you have a Western partner. There might be some misunderstanding along the line because of the language.
Yeah, absolutely.
But after a while, it surely disappeared.
Okay, good. I actually have experienced that myself, and I do find it a little strange. You do have some foreigners I met living here, for instance, in China, and they don't put any effort into learning Chinese, right?
Yes.
So they just speak English and lazy. So I suppose in any relationship you have to have input from both sides. So that makes total sense. Put a little effort into learning. Just a little bit goes a long way. Right?
Yeah, you don't have to speak fluent Chinese to get by. I mean, you probably noticed that if you speak a little bit, people will feel really happy about it. They think, "Wow, foreigners speaking Chinese." And in return, maybe the Chinese partner can try to pick up the words and try to practice the English consciously to improve the communication. This is very important.
That's very good advice. Okay, so we talked about food, talked about language barriers. What other kinds of problems could come up in a relationship?
A big things I noticed just by looking around me and my friends' experience. I think Chinese girls don't really have the concept of casual dating, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And it's a big cultural difference. Chinese girls are usually very family orientated. So under the pressures of the society and the family, after a certain age, they are expected to get married. So when they go out and find boyfriends, that's at the back of their heads. They're trying to find a husband.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that, obviously.
Sure, of course.
But for instance, American, when they come to China and decided to meet loads of attractive Chinese girls, they might think, we can try some dating and I can date maybe different people and see how it works. For the American guy himself, is very casual, but for the person he's dating might necessarily be the same case.
Exactly.
So
That's something I tried to explain. Maybe I didn't use the right words in my Our Chinese Girls Easy video. A lot of people jumped down my throat because of that. The whole idea of a clingy girlfriend or somebody who is thinking about marriage, this is exactly why. Because Chinese society is incredibly family orientated.
Yep.
And for instance, I know usually when a girl goes home during the Spring Festival holiday, her parents and family will really
when you're gonna get married.
Yeah, exactly.
You're 25 already and you're still not married.
Exactly, yes.
It's very difficult, I think, if you are single and everybody around you is married.
Sure.
So it makes you feel weird.
Yeah.
But for the Western guy, he doesn't have that. He doesn't have any pressure. He's in China. He's experiencing that everything is new and everybody is beautiful. Yeah, exactly. He doesn't have anything behind his back. So if you find somebody you're attracted with and you want to maybe do some casual dating, make sure that the other person feels the same.
Yeah.
Or you end up hurting somebody, looking like a bad guy, which is not good.
And that's when you get the situation with people, coming up in the middle of the night, banging on the doors.
Where's my money?
Yeah.
Where's my daughter?
Yeah, exactly. All this nonsense. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
All right. So we've touched on family. Now this is actually quite an interesting thing. How accepting are Chinese families of relationships with foreigners? I know this can be a big problem. So what do you have to say about that?
I think it depends on the family, like how open-minded they are. My family, for instance, I think they're quite relaxed about it because we have relatives who went to England for education, or my uncle lives in Brazil for 10 years. Okay. So we have that sort of background.
Yeah, that helps.
I'm not the only person who ever been abroad, stuff like that. But on the other hand, if you met some extremely hardcore traditional family, they might just say no. Yeah. They would just say, you don't know about the country and it's not safe. And
I've had a couple of friends who their girlfriends refuse to let the family know that they're dating a foreigner, so they always have to pretend that they're not in a relationship. So it does happen. Yeah.
But actually, most of the time, my friends, they don't have that kind of problem.
Oh, great.
As long as the guy is a decent person.
Yeah, a decent person.
And he shows willing to learn the culture, etc., to integrate the society, I think the family will be quite forgiven about the nationality.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it goes both ways as well. I know some very traditional Western families who don't like the idea of their sons or daughters dating somebody from Asia. So, it's just depends on how traditional the family is.
Yeah, exactly. Right? And it's probably a lot more common now, especially in places like Shenzhen or Guangzhou, where a lot of the foreigners live and work here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty cool. Okay, so I think we've covered quite a lot. So I was wondering if you could perhaps share one of your personal stories, doesn't need to be too personal, but one of the things that's happened in one of your relationships that you think maybe stood out and could be a warning or an example, what to avoid to somebody who's looking to date a Chinese girl.
You mean that it doesn't work?
Just something that may have caused trouble, which could have been avoided if there was just some understanding about it.
Right at the moment.
I know it's difficult. I'm putting you on the spot, but I mean, just something as something as simple as maybe just doing the wrong thing at a dinner table, or doing the wrong thing in front of family, or doing saying the wrong thing, or maybe I don't know. Is there anything like that that happened?
Not really. I think the most awkward things happen is pretty much like what I said, the food. I remember I was dating an English guy that was a long time ago. I was about 25 or 26. And I took him out for lunch, and I ordered food, and I thought the food was delicious. But I don't really actually remember exactly what I ordered, but it was like pork intestine or something.
Right.
And you look at it, you just say, "You are disgusting."
Just like that. Oh, that's
and
terrible.
to me,
Okay.
yeah, and he
That's
said,
terrible.
"This is so disgusting. How can you eat that?" And he's like, "Whoa, it's gross."
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say I was offended, but
I would have been offended.
I
Yeah.
felt a little bit sad because I thought, "Oh,
Yeah.
this is nice. You should try it."
Sure,
but it's
sure.
like, "Whoa, you're
Yeah.
disgusting." Yeah, that's quite awkward. But now I understand.
Mm,
Now I understand food are so much related to your childhood.
sure.
If you never had it before, you probably just find it gross and you don't want to try.
Yeah.
Now I can understand that more, and obviously I'm more mature now. But back then, I thought he's really a jerk.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's a bit of a jerk too. Okay, to be quite honest, yeah, you shouldn't be like that in any situation.
Yeah, you should at least
Yeah.
try to pretend.
Just say, "Oh, sorry, I'm too full," or "No, sorry, I don't like pork," or whatever.
Yeah, I'm
Come on,
allergic to
yeah,
pork.
Exactly. Anyway, okay. Last thing I'd like to ask you.
Okay.
As a Chinese person, getting used to foreign food, what was probably the biggest problem, the one food that you didn't like and took you the longest time to use?
Cheese.
Cheese. I knew it.
No, it's just
Yeah.
blue cheese.
Blue cheese. Oh yeah.
And now I love it, but
Yeah.
before I found it really gross.
Really disgusting.
Just the smell was quite distinctive.
All right.
Yeah, but-
Absolutely. It's like
but after-
tofu, eh?
No, tofu is worse. At least there's some
Okay.
nutrition
Okay.
in the cheese.
Sure.
Tofu is just pure rubbish.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's that cheese. I can't think of anything else. Oh, what is that jam things that South African like?
Jam?
It's like made of beef, I think. It
Oh.
tastes like beef.
Oh, it's like dried, like neural gun.
No. It's a kind of things you put on your toast.
Oh, Marmite.
Yes.
Marmite.
I don't
or-
like
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
I
Okay.
still don't like
Don't worry, I don't like it either. It's
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it's a
Mm.
South African thing.
No, it's actually all over the world you can get that stuff. It's pretty awesome.
Australia, maybe.
Yeah, that's
Something.
true.
Yeah, I think it's too heavy taste.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Moon, thank you so much for your
No
time.
problem.
Do you have any message for the people on YouTube? Anything you'd like to say?
I'll just say, come to China, have a good time.
Fantastic.
You don't know, you might end up with a wife.
Thank you very much.
No
Okay,
problem.
all right. Cheers.